about London? I'm sorry.
Hi, Ish.
Yeah.
Scoot back, scoot up.
Scoot in.
Scoot in.
Scoot in.
Yeah, we should be good to go. Is
Alright.
everybody
We can
ready to
always
roll?
scoot
I mean, I
that
can see it in the camera right here. That's good. Moti's solid. I mean, you could scoot side. You need to just turn that over there so that she can scoot.
Yeah, why don't you do that? Yeah.
There you go. Come in the angle.
Angle in, yeah.
And Daedra, you want to scoot next to her. And then London, you can scoot next to Daedra. What's going on, everybody? Good evening. Welcome to episode 43 of the Table Talk podcast. It's the second to last episode of season 1. Next week will be our final episode of season 1 of Table Talk podcast. Hope you've enjoyed the ride. As you can see today, we have ourselves a full house in the building. I'm going to introduce one by one who's here today. Of course, we have London. And then we have Big Sis D, Daedra's in the building. You got Little Sis co-host Sada T in the building. Big Sis IB in the building. Of course, you got myself, Omar T, owner of Faust Hauss Roasting Co. You got Derek in the building. And then you have his daughter Sophie. And then Big Bro Moti in the building as well. Yes, that's him right here in the corner.
In the flesh.
In the building. Like I said, go ahead.
It's a family affair.
Yes, it's a family affair. Family reunion. Are we going to do that? Family reunion? Who
Family
we should do so. We
reunion.
do that at the end of the show. Today's topic, basically, we're going to talk about blended families, and we're going to talk about Faust Haus Roasting Company, all about it, and the emergence of it.
Yeah.
You know, so we're going to definitely get into it. Looking forward to that. Before we talk about anything, I want to give a quick shout out to our two sponsors of today, which is Leo's Coney Island, and of course, we also have BC Adhesives. Starting off with Leo's Coney Island in Royal Oak. Shout out to Leo's. They serve delicious American-style food, known for their conies, fried chicken gyro, breakfast, chili, and much more. Leo's conies have been around for a very long time, but the best Leo's of them all is the one in Royal Oak.
Facts.
Location, 110 South Main Street, Royal Oak, Michigan. Number 1248-336-8093. Shout out to Umar Al-Halimi and everybody over there at Leo's Coney Island, Royal Oak. Moti, you said that confidently. What were you about to say?
Yeah, I think that Leo's is the first one, right? The first location.
I think everybody, the original.
Yeah, the original. Yeah, the original.
Yeah.
I know those of being the late night after
Yes,
you.
Yes, definitely.
We used to go there
The
a lot.
late night
Yes,
eat.
yes. We used to go there a
We'll have
lot.
to save that conversation for another day.
Right.
All right, but with that said, we're ready to have some fun today. First of all, we're going to have y'all maybe introduce yourselves, tell a little bit about yourselves. So I'm going to let you go ahead and start with you, Derek.
So we actually going to start with the little one. We're going to start with the youngest first, and then we're going to wind our way over to me.
There we
So
go.
Go ahead. We're going to start with our youngest member.
Yep.
My name is London. I'm going to 7th grade. I run track and I figure skate.
There you go. Thank you so much, London. Go ahead, Daedra.
Well, my name is Daedra Secrest. I do consultations for LASIK Plus. I do marketing for Faust Haus. I help with production. I help with marketing. I help with manufacturing. So basically, you name it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She basically, if you need tints and windows, she's the lady to come to. All right. I mean, you know to introduce ourselves, but go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. My name is Sophia. I'm going to be a junior next year at Renaissance High School. I figure skate as well, and I'm part owner of the Faust Haus company, and so I help with the manufacturing and everything as well.
Part owner.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
I love it.
So me, Derek. I'm Derek English. I'm the owner of the company. I'm the owner of Faust Haus. I'm dad. I'm a designer. I'm an artist. I've been in the industry, in the automotive industry, for like 25 years. So I've been around. I've been doing a whole lot of stuff, and this is my little crew.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. But Moti, by the way, is in the building. For those that don't know Moti from the Fantasy Guys, but he's been on a couple Table Talk shows too. Of course, you got Cal Trey saying Boot Choop, best show on Tuesday afternoon. Champ Moti in the building, so Moti was not lying. He brings the ratings over here. So tell us a little bit about Faust Hauss Roasting Company, how to get started, how to get here, and things like that.
It's wild. Faust Haus Roasting Company was born kind of out of the pandemic, right? But it is first, you can say it's a coffee company, but it's a coffee company with a purpose. One of the reasons why we started the company was I've been involved in relief work since I was a young kid, since about 9 years old, all over the world. One of the things you have to do whenever you're doing relief work, I don't know if you guys have ever done this, if you've been involved in relief efforts, the first thing you have to do in relief efforts is you have to raise money, right? Because you got to get, whatever you're doing, you got to get some money together to do it over somewhere else. So when you do that, a lot of times when you're running a relief organization, you're working with one, you have to ask people for money all the time, right? And that gets tiring. So one of the things that we thought of was, what if we created a company, a for-profit company, that is focused on generating a product, a luxury product, a quality product, something we can be proud of, but its purpose is to devote funds towards relief efforts, so that we don't have to ask for money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
We
smart.
could just create the money through selling a quality product, and then use that money to help in aid and relief that we want to do.
Yeah.
Right? So that's kind of the genesis, if you will, and the foundation of what the company is really all about. But you know, that part of it is one part. The quality goods is the other part, right? So we don't want to ever have somebody say like, oh, I buy this thing because it does a good thing. We want you to buy this thing because it is a good thing,
Yeah. Right.
and it does good stuff,
Yeah.
right? So we focus on making a high quality product, one that we can be proud of, but one that does good within our communities locally and globally. So that's kind of what it is.
Love
Yeah,
that.
and how'd you come up with the name Faust Haus? 'Cause
So-
it's very unique.
It's real easy. I'm gonna let this one tell you the story about how we kind of come up with the name.
Okay, so well, as it started in the pandemic, obviously everybody was in the house, so we were the same way we were in the house. And so the street that we live on is Faust, and then also like with our family kind of being a big family, there's like different like meeting points, if you will. So if we want to have a family dinner at this house, this house, this house, and so it was just the Faust House, and that's what it was called. And so it kind of just made sense to just have
Love
it be
that.
Faust House.
I love it. I love the name.
Eric, I'm sorry. Eric, I got a question. So, what about the Red Cross? Do they help, you know, as far as the...
So here's what I'll say about my time. This is kind of like outside of Faust House or anything else. This is my personal experience, right? I think that those organizations, legacy organizations like that, are fantastic for what they do and what they're known for. However, sometimes you want to get more direct access to the money and direct access to the funds. So when I've worked on projects, I've worked on projects in Ethiopia, I've worked on projects in Kenya, I've worked on projects in Jamaica, Bahamas, all over the world, right? What we find is relationships work best. So when I'm connected to a community, when somebody is connected within the community, a community organizer, whether it be a religious organization, whether it be a NGO organization, these are people that are on the ground, in the neighborhoods, in the communities. So when you establish a relationship with somebody like that, then you know what your resources are going to, right? So far too often I see like larger organizations, it's harder to see the impacts of what you're donating or what your dollars are
For
doing,
sure.
right? So it's like pouring a little bit of something onto a giant fire.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's really doing anything,
Yes.
right? It could be supporting the administrative costs of running the thing, which is, it's fair. I'm not trying to knock it, but I rather know that what we're doing is actually being impactful in the communities that we work with.
Right, you gotta have somebody on the ground that you
Exactly.
know, that you
Exactly.
know.
No, and plus, that's great what you said. I didn't know you went outside the U.S. That's pretty
Oh
awesome.
yeah, no. So I've been like literally like Brazil, Bahamas, Jamaica. Like I've done everything from building, working at orphanages, working in small medical facilities. Like man, you name it, we've
Yeah.
done it.
I love that.
Can you tell us a little bit about your role, a little bit more about it? I know you say you do some marketing and stuff.
So, well, the marketing aspect of it is one, our Facebook post. Trying to connect with people. We just got a email from a company just recently, which we did not take up on. An event in our neighborhood, Brightmoor. It's like a music festival,
concert
community
series or
type
something,
of event, and the fee was actually too high for us. But I take care of all of that when it comes down to answering emails. We have another one, a lady from. She is in the Rust Belt, excuse me, and she is she wants to put our bags on her on her shelves, and so I communicated with her, and I haven't heard any feedback yet, but we just met her on Sunday, so I answer a whole lot of emails, try to get our product out there. We also are supposed to be inside of a market in our neighborhood, and so I'm pretty sure that I'm going to have some type of influence or be in network with that.
It's awesome.
And don't let it get twisted. She's also like helps with manufacturing. She helps with shipping. She helps with packing. She's like
All of it.
That's just all over
Hey,
the place.
I have an apology. I just thought about something.
Yeah.
I've been calling him Eric. I was like, what am I doing? But no, but for real though. Hey, secondly though, My sisters, like
Yeah.
real talk, are the ultimate hustlers.
Oh, for real?
I swear,
You get to that block.
I
Yeah.
tell,
Yeah.
hey,
Sure.
I literally brag about them like behind their back
Yeah.
because I tell people, I say, yo, my sisters are great moms,
Oh, for sure.
would be great wives,
Yeah.
and they're great sisters.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that they have that hustle in them.
Yeah.
You know, that hustle in them would help a marriage out.
It's immeasurable, the impact on a relationship and on a
100%.
family, because when you have somebody that is as dedicated to the growth of
Yep.
the growth of the family spiritually, the growth of the family financially, the growth of the
Facts.
family
Yes.
physically.
Huge.
I mean, I'm talking about somebody that makes sure my meds is
That's
up
real.
to date.
That's real.
And I
That's
walk
real,
5
I'm telling
miles
you.
a day, right?
That's
So
real.
I mean, like, when you have somebody on your team that is holistically focused on the well-being and benefit of her family,
Yeah.
you can't measure that.
For sure.
You can't measure the
I
impact.
agree.
Yeah.
No, for real, for real.
That's
See,
cute.
there you
Yeah.
go, yeah.
It's
Snapping it up? Okay, I didn't know.
So, I tried the coffee. It tastes great, but
Yeah.
it's unique too. Like
It's
it's,
very
a
unique.
different flavor taste to it, like than the original or other coffee brands that
Yeah.
we've tried before. So, what makes it so unique? Like, can you tell us a little bit
So-
about what's in it?
So one of the things that Faust Haus kind of was established to do also was a little bit of education. So y'all might argue with me on this point, and that's cool. We can do this, but we go back to the origins of coffee, which some people will say might be in Yemen. Some
right.
might disagree with
I was
you.
gonna bring that up, but go ahead.
Some people might disagree with you and say that it's in Ethiopia, right?
Right.
Either way you look at it, that part of the world, because as far as I'm concerned, Addis or Abyssinia, if you go back further, it's the birthplace of all humanity, right?
Yep.
So no matter how you count this, it's where we all from.
For sure.
And so that's where coffee is from, right? So we want to make sure that we showcase and show people. Not only is it an African product, but it's a traditional product, and this is where it comes from, this part of the world. So when we talk to people and we say, like, okay, understand if something starts here and it grows out from there, it's going to be very similar as it goes further and further out, but it's also going to lose that as it gets further and further away. And so some of the things that we show people and say, like, okay, what you're used to is a perspective on coffee that comes far from its traditional point, right? But if we start, and then you ask people, like, have you ever had Turkish coffee? And they're like, oh yeah, I love Turkish coffee. It's got like stuff in it. And I'm like, yeah, because you're getting closer to the center. You're getting closer to the epicenter of where coffee comes from, right? So what we did was we said, let's not act like we know everything about coffee when we start this company. We want to make sure we're honest and true. So let's go into people's homes. And so I have friends from Ethiopia. I spent time in Ethiopia, so we kind of go back to some of those things and what people are doing in their homes. So not necessarily what people are doing in restaurants. Somebody might go to an Ethiopian restaurant and say, oh, I had Ethiopian coffee, but it wasn't like this. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. And that's cool.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about how some people that I know make it in their homes traditionally
sure,
have
for sure,
forever. Go ahead.
Isn't Ethiopia close to?
Yeah.
It's across the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just across the street.
Across the Red Sea right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like right next door. So
Yeah, it is.
again, it makes a lot of sense
For
when
sure.
you start thinking about regions. And two, we have to remember the borders that we see today are not the borders that have been around for
Exactly.
5,000
Very
years,
true.
right?
Yep.
So it's when we start talking about countries and stuff
Yeah.
like that, it gets kind of shaky when you talk about history.
There's another plant I gotta tell you about that grows in Yemen, Ethiopia, but
Yeah.
we'll talk about it after. the
Okay,
show.
are you talking about chat?
Yeah.
I already know. I'm there. I'm with you. I was thinking about
It's
that
not
this
that good.
morning, actually.
Faust Haus Company.
But,
So anyway, what I was saying about the traditions and stuff is that we go back and we see what people are doing in their homes, and what we find is that people spice their coffees.
Yeah.
So that flavor, that Faust Haus flavor that comes across, comes from those familial recipes that have been passed down, and so we get like these unique flavor profiles. But we also, it's all in the way we roast too. Like I was talking to a guy a couple weeks ago, and he has a $60,000 Pro Bat. It's a beautiful roaster. I would love to have one of these. But he was asking me about, my roasting technique and why it's so different. I said, 5,000 years ago, when mom's sister auntie was making coffee, do you
Yeah.
think she was doing it on a $60,000 program?
No.
So let's go back to the original way that we do things and look at it through that perspective, and let's recreate that. And you come up with a different product
Yeah.
because you're doing things in a different way.
Yeah.
And so we take that more traditional approach to roasting. We take that more traditional approach to the way that we roast, the way that we bring temperature into the bean. I could get real scientific and technical, but I won't because it take up too much time.
No, yeah,
but
for sure.
but my point though is that roasting perspective, coming from a more traditional perspective, impacts everything that we do.
100%.
Yeah.
Any thoughts? I want to make sure everybody gets some words in. Sada, you want to say anything? Any comments or
You
stuff?
sound like you're very, very like proud of your work.
And
Oh,
passionate.
for sure.
Yes, and it's really nice to see that.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
No, for sure. It sounds like that. You know, that you found. I was watching a video earlier about you were talking about how this was something that you wanted to do,
Oh yeah,
and
for sure.
it was like you were mentioning, it was during the pandemic. You felt like there was no better time to go after your goals or your dreams
Yeah.
than now. And I was just watching and I was like, you could tell this is a person that's very passionate about what they
yeah.
do.
Oh yeah.
And if you were to ever feel like someone's gonna be successful at what they do, I think the first question you ask is like, are they passionate about what it is that they're doing? And it definitely is there. So, and you got a team. You got a team too. That's another.
100%.
And the authenticity of the coffee itself, going
Yeah.
into people's homes. Because like even when you have Arabic coffee or whatever, everybody's house does it differently.
Absolutely.
Spicy
Very
in different
true.
ways.
Absolutely.
Even the stores, but yeah, to actually go into the people from the
Yeah.
place that you're getting the coffee.
And that's another good point. Like, and Sophie, maybe you could talk to the different blends, but like that's the reason why we have those 3 different blends, because everybody's home does it a little bit differently and for different reasons and for different ways. And so we want to celebrate that, and that's the other thing is like it doesn't have to be so rigid. It doesn't have to be so locked down, right? You can be free with it and express yourself through your coffee, through your recipes, and that's a part of the beautiful part of it. I don't know. Did you want to talk about the different recipes?
Like the different spices?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep,
What the
whatever.
flavor profiles are?
Okay. So the cayenne blend here has cayenne pepper, cinnamon, and chocolate. But so like in the markets and when we're giving it to people, everybody always thinks like, ooh, I don't want that. Like it's gonna like burn my tongue, go out. It's super spicy. And it's not. It's more so like just like on the back end, like a sweet heat type of a situation. It's my favorite, but yeah.
That's probably why you introduced that one first.
Yes.
It's the
Yes.
least traditional, right? It's one that we just start having fun with our recipes. So it's the least traditional, but it is her favorite. So I get it.
She makes like this iced coffee called Cayenne Cream that is amazing,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
everyone
I was-
orders it off the menu.
I was just about to say, I hope you guys make an iced because
Yes.
that's how
Yeah.
I take them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do it all the time.
The next one in the middle is Jabina, and that one has ginger, cinnamon, cardamom, and turmeric. That one's like the most traditional of all of them here, and that's the original one that we started with because I mean like it's the most traditional, like just to like really get it in people's minds and make more sense. And then we have the Michele over there, and that one is like close to our decaf because we like to stay as an all natural company, and so we like it to be what am I trying to say? Oh, we don't want to add chemicals. So the process of decaffeination is a chemical process, and we try to avoid that at all costs. And so going back to the traditional way of doing things, we saw how people originally were taking the caffeine out of the coffee. And so they ended up adding wheat to the coffee to stretch the coffee. So that one has 30% less caffeine, and then it has wheat, clove, and cinnamon. And I like that one. It's kind of like a fall coffee. Like, I don't know, it just reminds me of fall. And we also call it as like the evening coffee because it's just less caffeine in general.
Do you see yourself getting more blends or creating more?
So right now, like as the company grows, we've actually added more unspiced coffee because we're introducing some of our people, again, going back to the roasting technique and the roasting methods being a little bit different. It allows us to really celebrate the bean itself. So we've been introducing some unspiced coffee blends to the market so people would get that additional experience as well.
Yeah. And then they could also add their own. To make
Absolutely.
It their own, like,
Absolutely.
No, but I'm glad you guys brought up the whole blending process. Aren't you worried about somebody copying you?
No, because like, so here's the thing. I like to say a thing within my community. I'm African American, so in my community, macaroni and cheese, I assume is everybody's thing, but I know it's our thing, right? So like, my mother's macaroni and cheese is gonna taste different from my buddy's macaroni and cheese,
100%.
somebody else's macaroni,
100%.
whatever, right? And so it's not that I always want to replicate that person's thing. I can appreciate his mother's macaroni and cheese, her auntie's macaroni and cheese. I can appreciate it because that's their perspective. So I'm not worried about somebody trying to, you can try and emulate it, that's
Secret
fine,
recipe.
whatever. But that's ours.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. And we're known for it. And that's one of the things I'm really proud of in a very short amount of time. We've been able to introduce people to our brand. And now when I walk around and people are like, yo, I drink your coffee. Or, yo, somebody served me your coffee. I didn't even know that I was drinking your coffee until as soon as I sipped it. As soon as the taste hit my mouth, I knew I was drinking your coffee. So that's like, nah, that's ours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's no questions about it, and I don't worry about that at all.
No, I
love
brought
that.
that up because it's just like in the, what's going on in the with the Arabia bean. One place opened up, everybody loved it,
Yeah.
and then few other opened up. I mean, to me, I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
But just the blend, I feel like their main coffee, they all kind of taste the same.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's why
They do.
I asked, because what if somebody opens up something similar?
I welcome
Would
it.
it be hard for them to replicate the recipe or the roasting process that
So,
you do?
so that's the other thing is that like let's recognize the different stages of our coffee company and what we represent. It's not just taking some beans from off the shelf and then putting some spices in them, right? This is roasted our method,
Good.
our way.
Okay.
So even if you look at just our whole bean product, and coffee is a huge industry, there's room for everybody in
Yes.
coffee, trust me.
For sure.
But so I'm just gonna drop some names real quick. If I say I took some beans from, we'll go with a Detroit company, Detroit Bowl, right? If I take some beans from Detroit Bowl and they are an Ethiopian yogurt bean, and we have our Faust Haus Ethiopian yogurt bean on the table next to you, you're gonna have two different tastes.
Definitely.
Good.
Definitely.
And that's because
Good.
you have two different roasting profiles, two different
Good.
roasting methods. So Coney Island, you just mentioned earlier, they make eggs and they make hash browns, right? But that tastes different.
At
from-
Leo's.
At Leo's, right?
Yeah.
That tastes different.
National.
That tastes different from somebody, I don't know, make up a name,
Yeah.
Tom's, Coney Island.
yeah.
His eggs and hash browns are gonna taste different.
Yeah.
So your customer is going to find you.
There
Your
you go.
customer is going to go to the quality that they enjoy.
For
So they're gonna find Leo's because they enjoy that quality. They're gonna find Faust Haus because they enjoy that quality. They enjoy that
100%.
product, and that's what we focus on. That high quality
that.
product that makes it unique to us.
Yeah, definitely. I love the breakdown. Oz Media is not the only place that you've been on. I've seen a couple videos. So
Yeah.
if you want to share with us, like, what you've been doing since then, like, I know you've
Been on the news.
been on the
We've
news.
been on the news, so we were on Channel 4 in March, and then they re-aired it again in July 4th, and I wasn't prepared. I didn't realize that when we're on places like Oz Media, there's people that see it and then they're like, I want to order that, and so it's like we have to be prepared with inventory when that happens because the website gets flooded.
Yeah.
So it's cool. One of the things you said earlier, Mo, you was calling me Eric. Well, in that interview on Channel 4, they got my
Eric.
last name wrong.
Oh, but they-
so
Eric. That's where I
they
got
called
it
me
from.
Derek Thomas. And I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
who's that? I don't know who that is. But it doesn't matter. Like, the reason why I didn't trip earlier, the reason why I didn't trip on that interview, I'm not as important
It's
as the
the
brand.
product.
That's real. That's real.
I just want
That's
people
real,
to know
yeah.
Faust Haus. I don't really care if they know my name or not.
I butcher names all the time. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, it's no big.
Yeah, I
no
write
big.
down names every time.
Yeah,
I write down
yeah,
people's
yeah.
names before I do an interview.
Yeah.
And I still butcher after I write it down too.
I love
so.
it. I love it.
But
my
that's
God,
awesome.
so
So
funny.
where can people find you? And then we're gonna get into the
The main topic.
yes, the other topic, which is basically I'm gonna make sure
Blended.
blended family. I must say splendid.
Splendid. It is splendid.
I love
But
it.
yes, where can people find you? Website,
So I'm gonna pass over the technical information, the website and stuff to our chief technology officer since she's the one that is responsible for all that stuff. And then I got one of my sales people that's gonna talk about some of the other places that you can find us. So
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay, well, so you can find us at FaustHausRoastingCo.com or FaustHausRC.com. And from there, you can get a description of each blend and further detail than like what I've said previously. and you can also order there. It can be shipped to you. And then also, if you have purchased the bag after you're done, there's a QR code on the back of every bag, and you can scan the QR code. It takes you straight to the website, and you can order again.
Oh, that's
That's
convenient.
awesome. And what did you say you were going to refer to?
Yeah,
that?
so I'm talking to my youngest salesperson, and she could tell you where you can find us around the city.
There you go. Go ahead, London.
If you're downtown on Sunday at like 8 a.m. through 4 p.m., you can find us in Shed 3 at the Eastern Market downtown.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Okay.
That's awesome.
So we operate out of the Eastern Market. That's where we manufacture. That's where our actual headquarters is. And then, like London said, on Sundays we retail there. So
Okay.
that's our main physical area of retail. We also have one other market that we do on Thursdays.
Oh yeah, we have a market in our neighborhood in Rosedale Park. We have a farmers market every Thursday.
And what time is that, by the way?
It starts at 4 o'clock to
Yeah.
8.
There you go.
I've noticed you guys have like a, I don't know if it's a partnership or with Rosa.
So we are the coffee supplier. Rosa is a coffee shop on the west side of Detroit,
Okay.
19180 Grand River. And we supply all of the coffee to the coffee shop. And it's also a retail space for our coffees as well. They have us on the shelves there. So whenever you're buying coffee from Rosa, you're experiencing one of the Faust Haus coffees.
Love that.
Love it.
That's awesome. Any final comments about Faust Haus? Anything you want to mention? Obviously, we're still going to be here, so you can always throw in something. But
Yeah, we'll be here. I'm sure we'll reference it a couple more times just because I can't help myself whenever I'm talking. I'll talk something about it.
got to. So, with that said, let's go in now into the blended families conversation. So, we have
Maybe
a
like
table.
blended coffee.
Yeah, blended coffee.
Blended coffee,
Yes,
blended
there you
family.
go.
Alright, so what is it like to have a blended family? Daedra, I'm gonna start off with you. We can pass it to London right after. You know, how does it feel to have a blended family?
For me, it's absolutely wonderful. I am blessed to have the space for Derek and Sophie to move right in. Like, I feel like everyone sometimes need their own space, need their own room, need that minute to like decompress or just get away from family. And I'm really thankful that my house is able to accommodate all of us. Of course, these two share a bathroom and they swap back and forth on who's going to clean it. But I just feel like that's with any family. Like, everyone's going to, I'm going to be mad at you and we're going to forgive each other and we're going to be the best of friends tomorrow. So I just feel like it's not so much that we're blended, we're just family.
I love that.
Love that.
So London, how's that experience been for you? You said 7th grader, right?
Yeah.
So 7th grader, middle school. You know, like she said, sharing bathrooms never easy, but it's okay. So how's that experience been like?
It was new to me to share a bathroom because I don't share bathrooms. So, it was new, but we both know how to take care of the bathroom, so it's not a big issue. But I like my blended family. They're very cool, and their family is cool. And when we became a blended family, we got involved into their family. So that's like a real big family.
You got your best friend living in your house, huh?
Yeah.
I love that.
Moti, I'm gonna dish it to you. Moti has a blended family
Sure
as well.
does.
This,
Yeah.
this is why we thought he would be great to also come on the show. So Moti, how's that experience like?
I mean, just going off what London was saying, you know, I think all the kids will appreciate the blended family when they grow up. Right now, it might be a little back and forth, getting to know each other, but when they grow up, they're going to realize that was the best thing that ever happened to them. Having the other sibling in the house, having another parent or both parents at home, it's huge for kids, when they grow up. But yeah, same with me, man. Like, I'm, I think my wife won't like me saying this, but I think I'm done with kids. I don't want to have any more kids. So she brought a little one into our relationship, and I honestly, he's like my little son, and he's like their little brother, and they treat him like that. Like his days, I literally forget that he's my stepson, honestly, because life happens, and we just work as a family, and keep it pushing. So.
Love that.
That's awesome. Sophie, how's your end? Now you gotta be nice because London said something nice.
Well, no, I was thinking, and I was like, I mean, me and Linda both have other siblings, and so it's not like you're an only child and you're like learning to have a sibling. So we're both kind of used to it. But both of our age gaps, I believe they're both 11 years. Is yours 10 or 11?
It's a little.
Yeah.
So they're both 11 years. So like it's different for us because we both had siblings, but we've never had like close in age siblings. So it's kind of like you have a sibling, but you're really an only child because you're just so far apart that it's just weird kind of. But I liked it. It was not that I had to like kind of get to know London because I mean like she was like 5 or 6 when I met her, and so it's kind of like not like we grew up together, but we did because it's just like she was a baby, so yeah, I'm just used to her.
You were too.
Well, yeah. I get that, but I'm just saying like I've just been used to her.
Yeah.
But coming into the house, I don't know. It was different for me because it was just like I've shared a bathroom. I'm cool with everything, but I also recognize like I don't know how to. I'm not like a. Ooh, maybe I shouldn't. I feel like I kind of just like do it. Like I don't know. But coming into the house, I liked it. I mean, it was different because I don't know where things are. I'm just like kind of confused. But other than that, I think it was like a smooth transition.
Yo, I think the bathroom was a big issue in this house.
Are you kidding me? It's girls. I'm just saying.
Everyone has
Bathroom is
they
a
have to lay that
sanctuary.
hair down in the morning. Edges on fleek.
Especially if like they're both going to school, so everybody and you're not
Absolutely.
used to sharing that time
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Derek, so how have things been with the Blunden family?
I think the biggest thing for me is make sure everybody is comfortable in their space, comfortable with each other, comfortable in their space, in their home, comfortable with this larger family. Like London was talking about earlier, like it's not just me and Sophie that extends out to this blended family. Like I come from a big family, Daedra comes from a large family, right? So it's not just like introducing 2 people or becoming this unit of 4. It's an enormous group of people, and so making sure that everybody feels comfortable and keeping those lines of communication up and making it okay to not be uncomfortable or to be comfortable, right? So like it's those times when, and I'm thinking not so much now, I'm thinking like years ago, but it's those times when somebody says like, no, I need to not be around them, or I need to have some space to myself. Being able to respect that and say, okay, cool, let's keep these lines of communication open. Let's keep talking and figure out why. Let's figure out what we need to address so that you can continue to grow. I think when we ignore problems or we ignore issues, they get bigger. They manifest into giant issues and giant problems that could have been solved a lot earlier by being able to talk to one another and work things out. So for me, that experience of a blended family is just like an amplification of communication. Sometimes when you're not a blended family, you take for granted like that's your son. He's gonna do what he's supposed to do because that's your son. It's different when that's your bonus son. It's different when that's your bonus daughter, right? No matter how much you love them, no matter how much they love you, there's still this little bit of gap there that's different from when it's that small. I grab her and snatch her up. It's different when and I love this one. I love this one. But I recognize that there's still got to be that space and that respect. So like those types of things force you to say, I can't just snatch you up. I got to talk to you. I got to make sure I understand where your head is at. I got to make sure I understand where your heart is at. Let's keep these lines of communication open. And then that influences me when I'm talking about home.
I was just about to say that. I was like, does it make you feel like, wow, I should do the
Absolutely.
same thing?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It keeps you from taking for granted the relationships that you have with the children that you gave birth to. Or, well, I didn't give birth, but you get what my point. Right?
You helped out.
I helped out. So it helps you to keep from taking that for granted. And again, I think coming from that perspective of a bonus family and recognizing that, or a blended family, recognizing that it's not steps, it's bonuses, it's not divisions, it's unity, it's more communication, it grows the entire unit, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's important. I think that's massive.
Because it takes, honestly, a village to raise a child. So why not
Absolutely.
have an extra,
Absolutely.
For
person
sure.
in your child's life,
Yeah.
especially someone
Absolutely.
that cares
I
and
honestly
loves.
think that they're very lucky. Like London has 2 dads, you know.
Right.
Like I think that's absolutely great. Sophie has 2 moms. Like
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely amazing.
100%.
What are your
I
thoughts,
got the
Sada?
best bonus. I just want to interrupt.
Yeah,
I got
no.
the best bonus dad cup. I'm just saying. Just saying.
No, it's so cute. Very, very cute.
So we're gonna go with the challenging. All right, the challenging part. I started off with you, Daedra. I ain't gonna put you on the spot
That's
like
okay. Go
that.
ahead.
Do you want to start off with this one, the challenging?
Sure.
Go ahead. What's the most challenging you feel like having a blended family? By the
So
way.
I think sometimes, and I'm gonna defer actually to the girls, but what I think some of the larger challenges is the balance of not so much just the unit, but the other sides of the unit. Like so,
For sure.
and I have like no animosity whatsoever. My ex-wife is a good friend of mine. So, but I do understand that like that's a whole nother thing for my daughter to deal with. There's like a whole nother side of this equation that I'm not really a part of. So I don't know what's, if they're having dinner tomorrow and it's important that she be there or whatever. I'm not involved. I have no idea. So there's that managing the stuff that's unmanageable, if that makes any sense. If that, you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you think?
I think that definitely plays a role in it, just because it's just, I don't know, it's a weird balance, because it's just like some days she'll be really picky, like I need you here right now, and then other days she'll be like, I'll see you when I see you, and it's stuff like that, or it's just I don't know, like if this is the unit, it's just like outside influence, so it's just like something that she'll say, maybe it'll like make me feel weird or something when I come back, and it's just like, I don't know, I don't know.
Do you feel like it would be better if it was like routine, like specific days or?
Oh, it is.
Well, it is.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay.
It's specific days, it's just like the time, kind of.
Okay.
So if I get there at 8 o'clock in the morning, or if I get there at 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
It's scheduling. It's understanding like who's gonna pick up who's good. Like it's I'm not talking about anything major.
Yeah.
It's the minutia.
It is.
It's the tiny little stuff that becomes a challenge sometimes.
I mean, so, I'm obviously not with my son's dad or whatever, and
Yeah.
he lives in New York, so he hardly ever comes to visit. He'll
Yeah.
come like, once every 3 years or something like that.
Call them out. Call them
But
out.
no, like he'll just randomly be like, I'm in town, can I come in the next 30 minutes?
Yeah, that's different.
And that's
Wow.
like, well, no, because I didn't get a heads up. I didn't
Right.
get like
Yeah.
anything. And I feel like it's awkward for him. You know what I'm saying?
Of
Like,
course.
Say his name.
what he needs to like, not for him, not for Ramsey.
Yeah.
I was messing with you.
You know, like he gets. Imagine not seeing someone for 3 years or 4 years. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have that. It's like scary, and
Yeah,
it's
you're
like.
let me warm them up for a
Yeah.
second.
Yeah,
Like, get
I don't
them
know. It's very
prepared.
difficult. So when I was saying like a routine, but I guess it is a routine.
Oh no, yeah, and I don't want to say anything disparaging about my ex. No, like, her mother's a great mother.
Yeah.
She's
I'm not.
like, yeah, no. I'm just saying, like, I guess what I was saying, like, the challenges that I see, those types of challenges, I understand for sure. Those are the challenges that we deal with because both of their parents, their additional parents, their birth parents, are wildly active in
Very
their lives.
active,
They see
yeah.
them like every week, multiple times, whatever. So that's not our issue or anything like that. But just in terms of challenges, the challenge that you're speaking of is similar in the sense that there's still things that are out of your control as a parent, right? And so
You can't control what happens there.
you can't
Can't
control what happens.
100%,
You can't-
right.
So it's like
Yeah.
those types of things are again, we're lucky. We have very good partners that we raise our co-parent with, right? We have excellent co-parents, so we're very, very lucky in that sense.
So do you find it difficult sometimes when you're making decisions? Like,
That's what I mean. Like, so
Yeah.
even like, we like to go camping a lot, right? So we have a rotation where we split weeks, right? So it's like, oh, we want to go this weekend. Oh, we got to change our schedule. We can't do this. We can't, it's again, I'm talking about minutia. These are things that are like mild inconveniences.
Right.
Yeah.
But those mild
still happen.
inconveniences, they still
Yeah.
happen,
Yeah.
So those are some of the challenges that I see that we face.
okay.
And I just want to say I appreciate for y'all sharing this stuff because obviously this could be some sensitive conversations for some people and they
Absolutely.
feel like they don't want to talk about this. Even London and Sophie, we appreciate you sharing this because obviously you are going through it as well. Moti, what is, for you, what is
Yeah,
the
man,
toughest
I
part?
had them in my head, and I'm glad I kept them there because it was like it's kind of throwing me off. But Derek, Derek mentioned one thing, man. I actually have two things. One, the co-parenting to me is an issue because I hold people accountable. Like he just said that, Derek just said that him and his ex alternate weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, I deal with, basically whenever they're free, they come get them.
Yeah.
There's no schedule. I'm talking about both parents, both sides. Their mother, my stepson's father. So what that puts me at now, it's like, all right, they're with us 90% of the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, if you're gonna do that, then I'm gonna hold you accountable. No, you can't make decisions now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No, you,
100%.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? No, you can't, discipline them, to be honest with you. Like, there's no discipline. I'm doing all that now. Until there's a set schedule, I feel like, you know what I'm saying, you have input now, but if you don't have time for your child, then, don't act like you're going to do these other things where you don't even know your child really, because you're not spending time with them. So that's my issue with that is, that, what I'm saying, as far as the co-parenting, that there's not much to me, especially with the guys. I don't know if I'm intimidating or...
You are.
Or
Especially after winning a couple championships.
Just saying.
or
And the hair.
maybe, or maybe,
And the hair, I love it.
yeah, or maybe they're too young when they had children, they don't understand it.
They're not
Or
mature
ma-
enough.
Or maybe they're not mature enough, or they're going what their father did to them. I don't know what the issue is,
Right.
but the two guys I deal with, to me, it's very, very immature to me. So that's one thing. Another thing is about discipline. Like, with mine, I discipline them. This is something that I feel like it's good into, I mean, I'm not gonna say, women or men, but me, I feel like boys need to be disciplined more. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want my kids out here embarrassing me. Let's keep it real. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's too much discipline, there's enough discipline. You have to balance that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I can't do that with my stepson. Honestly, just like you
that's
brought
what,
up.
that's what we're talking about.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Like I can't do that, and I won't do that. But ever since he came in our house, I haven't disciplined my kids ever since because
It
Yeah.
changed.
I learned how to talk to them.
Yeah.
Because they're like, "What about him?"
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't want them to ever say that about anything. I don't want them to ever say like I feel like I'm treating him better than him
Right.
in anything.
Yeah.
All of them getting treated the same. So those are the two things that what I'm saying that are challenging in in my relationship.
London, other than bathroom, what has been the toughest part or the biggest disadvantage?
The toughest part of a blended family, well, my blended family, was probably getting situated with them moving in. Like, I know I wasn't moving houses, but it was just a change because I'm usually just used to me and my mom, and now it's like two more people in the house, so it's kind of like new rules and new boundaries and stuff like that. But it's not a big issue for me because it's like very easy to, But yeah,
But it's something different.
Yeah.
For sure.
Definitely.
but I'm used to it now because it's been like a minute.
But I like how it wasn't just like, in our culture when we get married to someone, it's like quick and then they just move in, But I feel like you guys had the time to get to know each other out
Yeah.
of the home first
Yeah.
for a minute, and then now you're able to, then they got to know each other. Oh, sorry.
That actually reminds me of like one of our earliest challenges was the way that when Daedra and I first started dating, and again, London was 5, so she was like a little kid. And Sophie was young too. She was only 9 years old. And I took this perspective that I wanted to keep things separate. I didn't want them to know about each other. I wanted to shield her from that relationship. And in my mind, I thought it was because I wanted to give time to slowly make these transitions and these changes. And it wound up causing more problems than it solved, right? She got upset because she could tell I was hiding something from her.
Mm-hmm.
She was upset because she was like, there's this kid that I know you have that I want to meet.
Yeah.
And it was like I was causing a problem that didn't need to even exist.
But I can see where you're coming from, because like when you're still getting to know each other, like you don't know if it's gonna work.
Right.
And then imagine if they get really close,
Exactly.
and then you're taking away that relationship, and that's like harmful when they're young.
Exactly. Oh,
So-
it can be harmful when they get older too.
Too, yeah, for sure, for sure. 100%.
Great points. Great points, Daedra.
So the most challenging thing for me is the laundry. Shout out to Grammy. Thank you so much. His mom helps me like fold the clothes, wash the clothes, clean the house, everything. Thank you so much, Graham. So laundry more than anything. Me and the girls, of course, they have to wear uniforms. I have to wear a uniform, and we double up on our clothes. So we, of course,
I hate
change
laundry.
as soon as we get home. And so we have 2 outfits in one day. And it's insane how much laundry piles up. And it's just crazy. So that's probably the most challenging thing. Laundry.
I hate laundry done by myself, let alone
Oh my gosh.
That's
They
funny.
need to invent a machine that you can like put it in and it does everything for you.
It folds it and then just doop.
Yep.
Jetsons. The Jetsons.
There you go.
Not there yet. It's on the way.
2000 something.
Right.
So, Moti, I'm going to start off with you. We're going to go from the most challenging to the most rewarding. What is the most rewarding part of having a blended family?
I mean, I brought this up earlier, man. I think I'm done with kids. I don't want to have kids. So the most rewarding for me is giving my 2 sons a little brother.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, he came into my household. I think he was like 1 or 2, very young.
Yeah.
So it really felt like, he was mine. You know, because all the time I spent with him, and even like when they talk, they always say my little brother. When they talk to their friends, or even though they talk to me, what I'm saying, he's my little. Well, I say he's my little brother. I'd be like, all right, you know what I'm saying? I feel you, but I think that's the most rewarding part.
How about you, Sophie?
Well, similarly, how I was saying that we both already have siblings, I think it was rewarding for me to no longer be the youngest sibling. Because it's just like, I've always been used to that, and so it was a new experience for me to have somebody younger than me. And I don't know, it's just new. And well, obviously with Daedra, because it's just like, it's a new person that I get to know, a new person that I get to, like, she can bring me ideas and things like that, and it's just a different perspective.
Same question for you,
I like
Darren.
that answer.
What has been the most rewarding thing about having a blended family?
Gaining brothers, gaining sisters, gaining daughters. It's the expansion of family. Like I think that's one of the things that just, as humanity, one of the most rewarding part of humanity is the expansion of your community, the expansion of your family, the expansion of your traditions, your gathering. Like, it's the expansion, the increase. And so for me, like, the greatest part of it all is the expansion of the family. Being at this man's wedding.
Hey, listen. We always bring this up, right?
Listen.
Nah, let me tell you the backstory. So, when you get married, you just all over the place,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I don't even know if you remember. Like, you
Listen.
don't remember the day.
I see him. No, I see him like coming in, and you know how you look around. I see him. I'm just like, all right. I think that's what Daedra was talking about in my head. So when we in the dance floor,
Don't tell me you call him Eric.
no, he had on a yellow shirt.
Yeah.
Right? So on the dance floor, you know how in our weddings they twist you around and all that stuff. So when I got twisted, I seen yellow. That's what I seen, yellow. And he was just standing there, saying just cool.
I was enjoying it, man. I'm just
And
chilling.
then I was like, come on. This is gonna make the day right here. You know what I'm saying? Because me as a guest at a wedding, sometimes I would want the groom to grab me and like you know what I'm saying, get me involved. So that's what I felt like doing that to Derek would get him. You know what I'm saying?
Loosen him up a little
Yeah.
We had a blast. We had a blast.
It was his story for the whole weekend. Like, he was telling
That's real.
everybody.
That's real,
It
man.
was dope.
No, but talking about wedding, go ahead.
Okay.
The one I went, that one to me, I still mark that as the best one ever for me.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
London, what is the most rewarding part of having a blended family to you?
The most rewarding part having a blended family is like, just like, I don't know, but When I talk about like Sophie to people in general, I do say my sister because one, I'm not gonna explain the whole thing, and two, that's like my sister because I feel like I have known her for like a long time and we did grow up together. So when I had said like it was kind of hard adjusting when they moved in, it wasn't that difficult because I knew them for like good years before they actually moved into our house. So yeah.
Awesome. Daedra, same question for you.
So for me, it's just visually seeing them hang out together, seeing them play TikTok together, seeing them make dance moves together. I feel like Sophie is almost like creating a path for her. Like she tells her about school and high school and how high school is like. Classes that she has to look forward to that are going to be really, really challenging that she's going to have to study hard for. And so she's kind of just being a mentor, a big sister, and all of the things that she's supposed to be. So to me, that's super rewarding.
So cute.
That is awesome. Sada, I want to make sure you get your thoughts in and stuff like that. I'm always going to check in with you. Everything okay over there, Sada? Everything good? Why are you laughing?
No, this was really nice. I'm having goosebumps. I'm not gonna lie. It's so cute. It's good.
Well, there you go. We
I'm over
are.
here taking notes because I know no matter what, like if I ever get remarried, like he's gonna have kids. You know,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want anyone that doesn't have kids.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted the daughter of my own, and there's no way I'm having another baby.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that said, believe it or not, we're rolling down to our last couple of questions. So if y'all got anything y'all want to say, please feel free to do so whenever we dish the questions. Gotta give a shout out to the second sponsor though of today, which is BC Adhesives. BC Adhesives is located in Franklin, Wisconsin. You can go to BC Adhesives for all your industrial adhesives needs. They do food packaging, book binding, product assembly, and many other industrial services. So if you are in need of adhesives for your business or having trouble with your current adhesives applications, you can contact them by phone 1-888-679-9825 or by website www.bcadhesives.com. Shout out to Matt, Terry, Ed, and Jake. Matt Cassidy's getting married this October. Just want to throw this out there. We're going to be having the bachelor party in August somewhere in Indiana.
Choo-choo.
So, yes, looking forward to that. It's coming up close, man. It's coming up close. So, with that said, he's the last one from our little crew from college, by the way, that hasn't gotten married yet. So, it's going to be funny. Tallest one, too. Tallest guy. 6'5".
Wow.
Yes, great guy. So, with that said, I love everybody's answers, but let's be realistic. It's not this smooth for everybody, you know. So for the families that are out there that kind of have had a hard time blending, what advice would you give them? You know, what would you want to tell them? Daedra, I'm gonna start off with you.
The one thing that I feel like worked for us is, like Derek said, is just being open-minded, communicating with each other. I just recently had a patient, and she also has like a blended family, and she talked about how she doesn't get along with the daughter at all. And I was telling her, like, you know, start off with something small, like go get your nails done, or go, you know, do something together, go to brunch or something like that, something where you have a common connection, and try to eliminate all of the outside all the outside influences, to kind of just hear a reason why she doesn't like, you know, the new mom or the mother-in-law, the new mom. But yeah, maybe just communicate. Give that person a chance. Give them a try.
From your perspective, what advice would you give maybe another girl who's in middle school or another child who's in middle school and that dealing with the blended family?
I would tell them to like just be patient and see how it moves, because if you judge like from first meeting your parents' new partner, so you may not like them, but if they do have another child, then you can become really close with them, and that may make you want to start building a bond with their parent, because like that's going to be your new family.
I love that.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was so
good. All right, Moti, same question for you. You know, what advice would you give families that are kind of having a hard time blending together?
Alunda said it. Patience, man. A Moti story time. I wasn't like in the beginning. I remember my kids told my wife. So something about you're not my mom. I thought that's the worst thing somebody could tell somebody that's taking care of you.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, it was new. You know, and my stepson once, you know, like I'm always there for him and everything, and you know, I could tell he likes me, but whenever his dad used to come, he used to go crazy happy. I used to be like, damn, I'm over here doing the hard work. But I want that.
Yeah,
I want
absolutely.
that for him. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
And I think, well, Linda said, patience, man. Patience is very key, and also communication. I think communicating with you and the other parents is huge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and because the kids, you know what I'm saying, you want the kids to grow up seeing happiness, seeing good vibes. You don't want them growing up seeing, you know, bad things going on. They've probably already seen enough where it's like, just stop that. Let them, you know, grow up like normal people. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
I love the answers so far. Sophie, same thing to you. What advice would you give maybe like a teenager in high school who's dealing with a blended family?
I would just say to keep an open mind, because I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking back to like when the divorce and everything first happened, and I just kept saying like, I don't want any new people. I don't want to know anybody new. Don't bring me around anybody new. And I feel like that's probably like why you were trying to like keep us separate, is because that was like the first thing that I said after I found out about it, was just like, I don't want anybody new. Don't bring me anybody new, anything like that. And so with things like kind of being kept from me and things like that, I was hearing other things, and I could clearly tell that there was somebody that I wasn't like told about or fully aware of, but I knew that they exist. And so this just like enraged me, and I'm just like, I don't want to know anything about these people. I don't like these people. They need to go back to wherever they came from, and they need to just like separate themselves from whatever we have going on. But keeping an open mind and giving it time, and like things like we were already saying, it allows you to not more so, because it wasn't that I didn't like them. I didn't know them. I didn't like the idea of them.
Yeah.
I didn't like the role that I expected them to play. I hated it. And so it was like keeping an open mind and giving it some time. You gotta get to know the person rather than the role,
Yeah.
or like the idea that you have of them. And so I just say keep an open mind.
You know, as she was saying the answer, the first thing that comes to my mind is like kind of like how what we deal with in communities where there's more than one different background or different race, and how you should keep an open mind and get to know a different culture. I think that's the problem we're dealing with in America in general, everywhere, right? I think everywhere we kind of have that mindset where it's like, I don't want to deal with this, you know, I know my way, I'm not trying to learn no other way. And I feel like that's kind of an issue, not just, I guess, with families, it's just everywhere.
Everywhere,
so
right.
definitely keeping an open mind is great. Derek, same question for you, man. You know, what kind of advice would you give for people out there that are kind of struggling with their blended families?
I think everybody already answered the big ones, right? It's patience and communication. But I also think that part of patience and communication is giving people the allowance to feel how they feel and not try to squash it, right? When she was saying like she was angry and she didn't want to know them, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. But we need to talk through that. You're allowed to feel how you feel. I'm not going to tell you can't feel that way. But we need to talk through so that we can understand how to process this and how to move forward. But giving her that allowance to do that, I think is important. I don't know. Because otherwise I think you start to close the communication doors the moment you start telling somebody they can't feel a certain way or they can't think a certain way. Like, let's get some perspective and keep those lines of communication open.
Definitely. That's awesome, man. Believe it or not, we have reached a point where we're giving our final word. So this is like the one time where you could give like shout outs, you know, Instagrams, Facebooks, websites, whatever you'd like. Any final comments you want to make? You know, Derek, you are the owner of Faust Haus. We can start off with you. If you want to give shout outs, how can people reach you and stuff like that?
Shout out to all of the Faust fam. All of the Faust fam. All of the people that support this company by telling people about it, by purchasing our products, by drinking our drinks, by sharing us on social media. So shout out massively to the Faust fam. Shout out to Alyssa, my oldest daughter. Shout out to Leo, my baby girl. I'm surrounded by girls. That's all I can do is make girls. So yeah, just shout out to the fam. Shout out to the Faust fam. And shout out to this fam right
Absolutely.
here.
Appreciate
I
you.
really appreciate y'all.
Wait, if the crowd wanted to get in on this, by the way, they want to give a round of applause.
I like that.
All right, any final word you want to say, Sophie?
Go buy coffee. I don't know.
Go
Go buy coffee.
Wait, what was the other one from last night? More espresso,
Yes.
less depresso.
More espresso, less depresso.
Yes.
More espresso, less
Drink
espresso.
coffee.
Deidre, how about you,
Espresso.
Deidre?
I want to shout out to Easter Market for having us on Sundays. That is absolutely amazing, and I'm hoping we'll be able to get in there on Saturday. So that's our goal. And shout out to like good blessings for Faust Haus, and let's just hope that we prosper and inspire and get into these markets and sell our product. And I'm so glad for all of the hundreds of people thousands of people that will eventually taste this brand and love it.
Yes.
London, you want to give a shout out? And Moti, you got any final words out there?
Yeah, man. Shout out to Big Sis. Shout out to Derek, man. We appreciate you guys coming on. And, you know, honestly, I never knew about this. And now I know. This is awesome, man.
Yeah.
I hope you guys become the number one in the world, honestly.
I'm with
This
it.
is
That's,
so
listen,
this is so
God
awesome, man,
willing,
honestly,
yeah.
for real.
Yeah.
I mean, we appreciate you guys. London, Sophie, thank you
Yeah.
guys.
Thanks for having us.
For sure, and for those, you know, obviously that watched, I hope you enjoyed. Eventually we'll watch. You can watch it later on Oz Media's YouTube page. You can listen to it later on Apple and Spotify podcasts under Oz Media. Please feel free to like, subscribe, follow, hit the bell for future notifications. Other than that, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Again, this was episode 43 of the Table Talk podcast. It was all about Faust Hauss Roasting Company and blended families. We hope you enjoyed it. We got one more to go before season 1 closes. So thank you for everything, and we'll see you all next week.